Maxton Hall episode 6 starts with Ruby waking up excited for her first day at Oxford. She gets ready for her day and does her best to avoid James. She is excited about being one step away from the future she has always envisioned. She meets Lynn and runs into Jude. Together, the three of them head to the next application meeting. Meanwhile, James and his friends are also ready to get their offers. However, James can't stop thinking about Ruby and stealing a few glances at her. He even gathers up the courage to wish her well. For most of the day, Ruby aces her application processes and wows the professors. Later that night, she joined Lynn and Jude to have a few drinks at the local bar. Of course, James was there with his friends. Ruby leaves abruptly to get some fresh air and runs into Lydia vomiting outside. Out of concern, she checks up on her. Lydia subtly confesses she is pregnant, and Ruby encourages her to keep the baby. Lydia says she can finally see why James fell for Ruby and why he can't get over her. Ruby is confused because she thought James was toying with her, and that is why he ended their relationship. Lydia notes that James is suffering and sometimes ending a relationship is the greatest testament of love. Lydia's words haunt Ruby, and she is unable to sleep. For a brief moment, she contemplates confronting James but decides against it. On the other hand, James thinks of approaching her but changes his mind. The next day, the tension between James and Ruby comes to a peak when James lets his jealousy get the best of him during the question session. They go off at each other, with Ruby calling James a coward and likening him to his dad. After lashing out, Ruby runs out, and James follows her. They head back to the dorm while arguing. Ruby calls him out for pushing her away without an explanation. James struggles to tell her the truth about his dad's threats but admits he wants her. The two passionately kiss and head into the room. They are about to make love when Ruby remembers every harsh thing James has said to her. James notices the change in her mood and pulls back. He sincerely apologizes and explains the situation. Ruby says she is not scared of his dad, and James should fight for the future he wants. They finally make love and spend the day taking walks and talking about their plans. Even though they are uncertain about what it holds, they know they want to be together. After the weekend, Ruby gets on the bus back home, and Lydia and James are picked up by their chauffeur. Ruby happily returns home, feeling like she is walking on cloud 9. She is even happier when she gets home and finds her family installed the new stairlift. However, James and Lydia get home to find only their dad. He sits them down and breaks the news of their mother's death. He quickly explains that Cordelia suffered a stroke and passed the previous day. The kids are surprised that he kept their mom's death from them. Mortimer ignores their question and carries on with business. He answers a call and starts expressing his concerns, saying keeping the investors happy is the main priority. James understandably loses control and jumps on his dad, landing blow after blow until Percy pulls him back. James cries all the way to Ruby's house. He watches her happy family from the window and contemplates his future. In the backdrop, Ruby narrates how she feels hopeful that everything will work out.